Hi, I'm Kelli,
I'm Alisan.
I'm Leah.
And I'm Kristin.
and this is Fear and Wine. Good morning, and welcome to Fear and Wine. We are a podcast about horror TV shows, movies, and more, and we watch them and then pair each watch with the perfect glass of wine. We are at the finale of Welcome to Derry Season 1. I really love this whole show. I think for me, the episode that Kristin covered last week was probably my favorite, but this one's a really good one, and it's a little longer, so we'll probably just jump right into it. And it's called Winter Fire.
I can't believe we've gotten to the end so quickly.
I know. 8
Feels
episodes
so
is
fast.
fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is fast, but I kind of like that they do. You never lose your interest on this. They
Mm-mm.
don't. There's no like just filler episode. I
Yeah.
don't like when shows try to like stretch it out and just put a couple fillers in there.
Yeah.
It's a nice, tight 8 episodes, and everything was perfect. Yeah.
8's a good number. Like 6 sometimes is too short, and 10 is
Mhm.
maybe too long, depending on the show.
Mhm.
But 8's a
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
8's a good number.
Yeah. I think they did this one right. So our question for this one is towards the end of this, and I felt like it was okay to ask because if you know that this is the legend of It, you know the It movies, you would know that how it's going to end for some people. So at the end of this episode, the Hanlon family is given an option to stay on at Derry and be one of the guardians of the town and kind of join up with Rose's people and her family and help protect Derry. So knowing that some people need to keep the history alive and kind of help keep this monster caged. If you were given that opportunity, you've been through all this. We've talked about how you lived in Derry, Leah's like, why haven't people moved in the middle of this? But if you were given this opportunity, knowing what you know by the end of it and how it all works out, would you stay? Would you choose to be one of the guardians?
No.
Hell no.
Fuck no.
Okay, I was the only yes. And here,
Oh.
Because you.
I'm
you're
interested to hear
strange.
why.
Me too.
Absolutely not.
Here's why
Yeah.
I would at least consider it. I would say if I actually, other than what happens, if I actually really like this town, I like the area, the housing market's good, cost of living is great, and I would stay as long as I didn't have kids. I think, and I
Racists
got
just
to be
burn
in.
down a whole. I'm sorry. I'm
True.
sorry.
Well, I guess I'm saying, I guess I'm putting it in today for me. I'm saying Kelli, who
okay.
doesn't live in the
Okay.
60s. So I'm
Okay.
saying me. It's going to keep
Okay.
happening in Derry. So I went ahead and
Okay.
just, maybe that's part of it. I went ahead and say if it's me living today, I would consider
I think
and I would
having
make sure I
kids
didn't have
too.
kids.
I mean, that's true. If you
And
don't
you
have
got to be
kids,
part of the tribe and like
maybe-
knowing and help people, I wouldn't be mad at that.
Well,
I
he
think if
likes
you
kids
did
best,
have-
but he'll kill adults too. So
He will.
he
doesn't-
will, but they're usually connected to a kid somehow.
He will, but he seems to start this with kids. So
Yeah.
if you're as one of the guardians, you would know the signs. You know what I mean? I feel like you're always kind of a step ahead, and you're just hoping to help as many people as you could. So I would consider it. I really would.
We'll pair you up
I
with Daniel.
mean,
Yeah.
so I guess it is kind of hard to find a nice, decently priced home nowadays. So I mean, I understand from that perspective.
Depends
I
on
mean,
the
if
cost
I
of the
really
real
liked
estate.
the area,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
I mean, are they paying me a lot? Am I living for free? Like, I
No,
need
no,
some
you're
perks
not.
here if
No,
I'm
they're
going
not
to
paying.
stick it out.
Hey, just would you like to? Would you
Just
stay?
the bragging rights?
You still have to have a job. Yeah, you have to get a whole nother
No,
job
fuck
in
that.
addition to the.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
I'm going to protect
Well-
the town and have to work? I don't fucking
Yeah.
think so. No.
Well,
No.
I'm assuming I would already be living there and working there, and then I just like them. I found out that this happens. Like, oh, this is a thing that happens, and now I'm being invited to be part of this tribe to help
Mhm.
guard this. So I would probably already have a job, or else why the hell am I there?
That's
Unless
true.
I'm retired.
That's true.
So I would think, yeah.
But at
What's
that
the
point,
food scene like? They got good.
That's what I'm
restaurants?
saying. If it's a nice town,
It
then I'm
doesn't sound like they do. It seems to no. Mm-mm.
Like I imagine, let's take it out of Derry. And maybe I thought too deep into this because I want to move so
Maybe
bad.
I didn't
let's
think
take it
deep
out
enough.
of Derry, right?
Mhm.
And it's like a dream location I could live. Like I could be near the mountains in Montana. Or I could be in someplace I've always wanted to live. And I'm like,
Mhm.
if this is the
But you had to
trade-off,
deal with this. That's a
But I
good
had to
question.
deal with this,
Okay.
That's a
but
good way
I-
to frame it. Sure.
but I already know what's
There's
coming.
other mountains.
I'm not
somewhere.
having kids. I'm already kind of set up here. I like this town. I like these people. The restaurants are great. If this is where I want to stay, I'm like, what? All right, maybe
You're
maybe
braver
I'll
than
help be
me.
one of the guardians.
Braver than me. I don't want to see any clown opening his face up with light coming out. None of
No.
that.
Or maybe,
I'm
I would
gonna
agree
pass.
to it, and then when it gets to, 26.5 years, I'd be like, "You know what?
I'm gonna go on vacation
I
for a
gotta
few months.
go.
Yeah, exactly.
I got
It's like,
something to do over here.
right. I got this great offer in Costa Rica. You guys are not gonna be able
I'm
to
actually
reach
gonna
me
be
for a few
uptown
months.
that week, but, you guys have
That's
fun."
probably how I would handle it. I'd be like that old guy Kristin mentioned last episode where he's like, "See you in 26." Like, we never saw him.
You
He
would
just
be.
hung out
You'd
at
be
the
like
house.
equivalent to like a snowbird in Florida, be a it bird just somewhere else.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, 27 years. Here I am. Hey guys.
I just gotta
That's
figure
so
out how to work the
funny.
system. I
An
know
it
what's
bird.
coming. I'm on
That's
the
why Allison
inside
asked
of
how long
it.
it was going to be there so she could plan her vacation.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
plan your
sure.
vacations around it and be like that old guy. We never saw him. He probably didn't leave the house. He's just like, all right, I'll be at next meeting.
He's
And
like,
then you
"Good
just
luck,
take off.
y'all."
Exactly. Oh, yeah, I could totally work this now that I can just know to take a 3-month sabbatical somewhere.
Exactly, there you go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Just call your neighbor like, hey, is it over yet? And like, no.
Just like, well, can you
No,
just take?
okay.
Can you just keep taking in my mail? I'm gonna.
But then you call your neighbor and it's actually it, and you think it's your neighbor, and then
Oh.
it's like a whole
And they're
thing.
like, oh yeah,
yeah.
it's been over. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, come home. It's great here.
Oh.
Exactly. Yeah. I'll be watching the news. Don't worry about it. Again, I'm putting this in today's time. So
I mean,
we're
it's
gonna have
crazy.
updates on Instagram. I'll be watching.
The
Don't you
news
worry.
lies, though. You know that. The news
But
keeps
the
telling.
That's
listen,
true.
have you joined your neighborhood chat group? Because mine
TikTok.
is
Yeah,
on.
you're right.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, can you imagine now, the kids TikToking it behind them? Like, hey guys,
We would
Now,
see
they've
the,
come do
the
an
ghosts.
unboxing with me.
See the ghosts of the three of them on TikTok.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Teddy flying behind them.
Yeah, I know all my neighbors' business, so I would be and I don't even talk to them just from their little posts they do in the little neighborhood chat thing. So
Mhm.
I used to be
yeah,
a
I
part of
think I
that,
could
but
do
then
it.
I was like, no, I don't care about most of the things people are posting in here, and I just
I can't figure out how to get out of it. I just keep getting emails of
there must
people's
be an unsubscribe
business.
button somewhere.
All right. All right. Well, I guess I'm the weird one, but usually I am.
No,
So
you're
that's
just the brave one. That's all.
Yeah, I agree. Just brave.
Yeah.
okay. This episode's wine pairing is Floor Show Red. Floor Show California Red Blend features enticing aromas of Bing cherry, dark chocolate, clove, and roasted fig. Persistent flavors of ripe raspberry, boysenberry, pomegranate, and vanilla linger harmoniously for a smooth and luscious finish to this indulgent, full-bodied red wine. Pair this wine with beef, lamb, and spicy foods. Enjoy! For more information about us and all of the wines that we feature, visit our website at fearandwine.com. And make sure you follow Fear and Wine wherever you listen to podcasts so that you don't miss a new episode. And if you like us, please leave us a 5-star rating and review. Thanks! And again, it is called Winter Fire, and this is the season finale of Welcome to Derry, Season 1. So the augury has passed, and the monster has completed its feeding cycle, and it's getting ready to sleep for another 27 years until the military dropped that artifact into the lava and unknowingly woke his ass up. So stupid.
I
We
wonder
learn a
if
lot.
they had broken the artifact up into smaller pieces, if it would still be powerful.
I
Like,
wonder.
yeah, because I would be like, can I just get a little bit of that?
Like a necklace, just make a necklace
Yeah,
of it.
right. Like,
So
let me
we
put it on a
selling artifact
keychain.
jewelry. Exactly.
Right.
You can make a nice business. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when the episode begins, the people of Derry are going about their business and they're walking around downtown when suddenly everyone stops walking and they just kind of freeze in place and they're all staring at something in the distance. The camera turns and we see that what they are looking at is a giant, thick cloud of fog rapidly pouring through the streets and dispersing all over town.
Like the
And this
mist.
Yep, I was going to say this fog looks very similar to The Mist
Oh.
in the Stephen King book and movie The Mist, where a mysterious fog rolls through a small town, releasing monsters from another dimension. And that incident was also caused by a military accident. So we are learning that in Stephen King books, we do learn that the military is not so awesome
Slightly,
because
yeah.
they keep making mistakes. So there was an interview, I guess, with the creators of this show, and they claim that this fog is not linked to the mist. They're like, oh no, that wasn't our plan. I think they might as well have just gone with it though and said that
Right.
it was the same because even in the town of Derry, there is a nod to the mist because downtown Derry there is a building called the Arrowhead Hotel. well, and that's Project Arrowhead was the name of that military project from the mist that opened up the other dimensions. I think they should have just gone with it.
I agree. Yeah, there's so many other little Easter eggs that would have made a lot of sense.
Yeah, make it that
Or just let
same
people think
mist.
that, don't say no, just let people think that.
I know, and I think the fans are just like, "Nah, it's the mist." We're
Yeah,
all
yeah,
gonna say
yeah.
it,
We're
yeah.
just gonna go ahead and collectively decide it is the mist.
Yeah.
So
So, just like in the mist, trees are quickly wilting and dying all over town, and people are screaming and running for safety into nearby shops and buildings. And then we see this young girl creepily smiling as she's looking out at the chaos from the glass door of a shop. Like she looks like some demon. And then in the reflection of the door, we see a floating red balloon.
Oh.
At Derry High School, Pennywise has gotten into the principal's office and he gets on the intercom and starts making announcements.
see, he's funny
He
again.
really is funny.
He has a
He
good sense of
cancels
humor for sure.
He
He
does, he
does.
does. He cancels classes for the day and says that all upperclassmen are excused and they're free to go, but everyone else needs to head to the auditorium for a mandatory assembly. So, in a true child predator fashion, once you're 18, he's lost interest, apparently.
Right.
So, I noticed that, I was like, "Wow, you just let the seniors go,
The
interesting,
seniors,
alright."
no need.
Did I ever tell you guys that story of my incident with a child predator?
No,
I don't.
what?
I would have remembered
Yes.
that if you
Me
had.
too. I don't
It
remember a lot, but I feel like I would remember this.
It's not I might have because it's not what you think. It's funny, but it's not. Once I realized what was going on, it's probably not. So when I was living in Los Angeles, I wanna say had to be like 23 about this time that this happened. I worked at an editing company in Santa Monica, so I went out for lunch and I was headed back to my office when this guy is older. He had to be in his 30s. I would say like mid to late 30s. He came up to me and he's riding a bike, which, all right, it's California, so that's fine. People that ride bikes. And he just started like circling me, like around me.
What? Like a
And then
shark?
finally he's like, yeah, kind of like that. And he just just kept getting closer. And I was like, all right. And I'm trying to walk around him. I don't understand what he's doing. And he's like, hi, how are you? And he just starts chatting with me. And he's like, then he asked me if I was like, ditching school, and I was like, "Huh?" Because 'Cause I'm just walking around downtown, and, like, apparently I'm supposed to be, but my brain isn't catching up. It's like, "I'm not in school, I'm going back to my office." So,
Yeah.
I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" He's like, what school do you go to?" I was like, I'm not in school." He's like, "Oh, are you in college?" I was like, "No, I'm going to work." He's like, "Oh, okay, ma'am, you have a nice day." I was like, "You started flirting with
Ew.
me as soon as you realized I was not a child."
Ew.
Oh.
That's
Yeah, and then all of a sudden I
creepy.
was, "Ma'am." It's like, "Sir, you were, like, 38. Stop."
Dang. I mean, you have
Oh my
always looked younger than your age, but
But
that's
I
just creepy.
Right?
I
God.
I was downtown with my daughter. She's 16. We went downtown St. Pete just to like grab a bite to eat somewhere. And this was when she had just dyed her hair super blonde and she had these pink streaks in it. It was kind of crazy,
Mm.
but whatever. And this man like, I could see him looking at her, and he actually stopped her and says, "I love your hair." And he was like a 45-year-old man. It was just the weirdest and grossest. I was
Right.
like, "Get
Ugh.
away from my
And you're right
daughter."
there.
I mean, seriously, right?
Like,
it
the
made me
balls
realize
on
that, like,
some
that
men.
man would have never looked at me, he's my age and said
Mhm.
something like that,
Mhm.
but my 16-year-old daughter, his eyes were immediately drawn to her, so
I have a
Yeah.
younger cousin who's just gorgeous. She's a couple years, maybe a few years younger than me. And I remember being like, I was old enough to drive and she was, I don't know, 13, 14, and like taking her to the mall and grown men just like staring at her or like trying to talk to her and me being like, I don't fucking think so. Like
Yeah.
it was so weird to me because I don't know, like to me, I could tell she was young. And it's like, what are you doing? It was just gross. It was gross.
It's
mm,
just weird how so, like, brazen they are. It's like, man, you guys just
yeah.
Right.
really will just openly flirt with
Hmm.
young kids or people you think are young kids. It's
Ugh,
Right.
crazy.
Ah, that's just
Anyway.
terrible.
gross.
Yeah, so the younger students, so all the, underclassmen head to the assembly, including their Bert the Turtle mascot, and they head to the auditorium, and Patty and the Cakes are chatting with each other, and they're talking shit about Lily and the other classmates, like bitter bitches do. And then once they're in the auditorium, the students quickly notice that there are no teachers with them at all. Then suddenly the house lights go down, the spotlight comes up on the curtain on stage, and then a clearly puppeteered version of their principal's dead body takes the stage.
Oh my God. Like a marionette?
Yes, he looks just
Mhm.
like a marionette.
Ah!
So his mouth is moving just up and down, but like a ventriloquist dummy, and he's giving instructions. And the kids, being kids, they're a little dumb. They don't notice this right away. But don't worry, because they quickly catch up when the principal's body suddenly introduces Pennywise, the dancing clown, to the stage. The curtain opens up and out pops Pennywise, and he still has blood all over his mouth from the last person he ate.
Oof.
He doesn't even have the decency to clean himself up. He holds up the principal's corpse. He's still holding it like it's a puppet, so that's how they can tell, oh, this probably isn't our principal. And then just for a little extra flair to make sure he has the audience's attention, he sticks his 2 middle fingers into the principal's eyes like you would a bowling ball, and then rips his head off.
Oh,
Yeah.
And for my next trick, oh my
Right.
God.
Exactly. That's
I mean,
kind of
we
what
used
he's
to just
doing.
have, at assemblies at my school, we had like strongmen ripping phone books in half and like bending metal, but I have never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
Thank
Oh
God.
no, he's putting on a little show for him. And there's quite a bit of blood, but not as much had the body still been alive when he did this.
Yeah.
So
It was
then
coagulated up in there.
Yeah. So then he's quite the showman, because now he decides he's going to keep the head in his left hand, and then with his right hand he just chucks the body into the crowd of
Oh
screaming
my
people.
God.
And the poor little turtle mascot is like beside himself. He's like clutching his pearls. I don't know why I was laughing so hard during all this.
I really love the tie-in of the whole turtle thing, like being the
Mhm.
mascot of the school and also being like
The protector thing.
right,
Yeah.
right. I love
Mhm.
that.
Yeah. So then Pennywise ends his deranged intro by drop kicking the principal's head.
Stop.
But thankfully, he's no NFL kicker, and the head just goes off to the side, stage right. It misses the audience completely. And the kids now all run screaming, trying to get out of the auditorium, and it looks like the scene from Carrie. Like, they're all just banging on the doors, trying to get out.
It's hard to
But
be mad at this clown
I
when
know.
he's so damn hilarious, honestly.
He is entertaining. You gotta give him that. So the doors are locked, they can't get out, and then music starts up. The kids, realizing they're stuck in there, they turn their attention back to the stage to watch Pennywise singing his big 11 o'clock number, which is a moderately upbeat ballad about eating kids. When Pennywise gets to the song's climax and he's about to hit the high note, his jaw unhinges and his mouth opens super wide, revealing those razor-sharp teeth and the deadlights. And so all the kids go silent. Their eyes glaze over. They're immediately mesmerized by the lights and they can't look away. And then, one by one, their bodies start to levitate off the ground and they all begin to float. The backdrop of the stage set disappears, and Pennywise's old clown trailer from his traveling carnival days is in the back. And then we cut to the opening credits and the theme song.
Which is an entirely too long theme song. I watched the second episode yesterday,
Oh, you did?
and I was snapped
Oh.
into it. I was like, this is good. And then my arm got tired. I said, why am I still... How
He's like,
long
"I've
is
been
this
snapping
theme
a
song
while."
going to be?
My arm got tired.
I was like, what is going on? There's been like 16 verses.
It's an original, like, for the show song?
No, it's an
Yeah.
old song.
Oh, it is?
Okay.
Yeah, it's an old real
Oh.
song that they're
Oh, I
using. I
didn't know
forget who
that.
sings it. It's an old song, probably from like the 30s type old song. It's really cute, but it's like
It's
this.
good though.
Yeah.
It's a
It
little
has,
bop,
like-
but it was just like the whole song. I was like, I texted, it's like, what is this, Rapper's Delight? Like, why do they keep going?
I think Kristin has
extended
mentioned before
the
it has
extended
this,
version.
like a leave it
Yeah.
to be Beaver sound. It's kind of like little bells. It sounds very happy and jolly. I
Aw.
sing along with it all the time. I absolutely love it. But Allison's like, this is half the show. This song.
Right.
It's just the
Kept
intro.
going. You're
It's
gonna get
good,
all the
though.
kids by the time the song's over.
Right. Anyway, so after the credits, Ronnie, Marge, and Lily are up in their tower hangout and they're cleaning up when they notice the strange fog below them as it continues to cover the town. They go downstairs and stand in the fog for some reason. And when they get down there, they're looking back at that tower structure that they are in, and they see an endless amount of missing children posters all over. And as they look closer, they realize all of these pictures are their classmates. Marge asks Lily and Ronnie if they think it's just messing with them, because surely it couldn't have taken all of them. And Lily says there's only one way to find out. So the girls all hop onto Ronnie's bike. I don't know why, but guess she was the only person who rode her bike there. So now 3 of them are on one bike. And they head off. We cut to the sounds of a very depressing tuba playing, and we see a chain laying on the ground with a severed arm draped over it. And
Ew.
Pennywise is playing this tuba, and he's kind of Pied Pipering all these floating hypnotized children to follow his carnival trailer. The girls arrive to their school, and they see carnage. The principal's head is outside in the front lawn, and then when they get inside, the rest of his body's in the middle of the basketball court, and all the kids are gone.
I just don't see how this is something that is forgotten. Unless, like, their
Right.
Men in Black, like, minds are wiped clean, like, somehow and their memories are how do you forget
It could be
something
like
this extreme?
that's the magic of Pennywise, but I'm
I
sure maybe
guess.
subconsciously they have, like, nightmares about it, but then sometimes you wake up from them, you don't
That's
remember what you've
true.
dreamed about,
Mhm.
so
That's
I don't
true.
know. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like, you go get ready for school on Monday and you're like, "Hey, wait a second.
This
There's
seems
no other kids here."
yeah.
And then you just, like, go on with your life. I don't know. I am
Yeah,
just stuck on that part of it. It's like, I
I
don't get it.
know. I think that's just the suspension of disbelief we
I
have to have
guess, yeah.
for some stories.
Mhm.
So they spot a flyer of Will with Will's picture on it, so they realize that he's missing, so they're freaking out and they're trying to figure out where he could have taken Will. Off to the side, they notice a trail of blood, and they know that that blood will probably lead them to where all of the kids are. The three of them get back onto the one bike, and they start to follow the trail of blood. But this time, the three of them on one bike are struggling, and they quickly realize this mode of transportation isn't going to work. They stop the bike and pull over, and that's when they notice the body of the milkman. And he has died brutally at some point while dropping off some milk, but he's left his milk truck sitting there with the keys in it, ready for the girls to use. So the girls all hop onto the truck, and against everyone's better judgment, one-eyed Marge takes the driver's seat.
Oh, whose
I
idea was that?
I don't know, she got there first, but but
Like,
to
can't
be
she work the
fair,
pedals or something?
yeah, I think, but then I'm like, well, to be fair, none of them know how to drive, so I don't know if the lack of
That's
an eye
true.
makes that much of a difference
That's true.
when you don't know what you're doing. So the girls take off, and they hit every small object in their way as they pull onto the road. Over at his home, Leroy is trying to find Will. He makes a phone call to one of his friends' houses, but no one answers. He's about to run out and just go look for him in the streets when the phone rings. Leroy answers it, and it's Pennywise's silly ass just giggling and playing on his phone. And I was like, why? Because you remember Allison and I know we had a mom that was always like, stop playing on my phone. Like, you can't just,
Mhm.
all calls had to be necessary. Like, you can't just be, be on the phone just joking around.
Mhm.
So I'm like, when this is the time before unlimited minutes, and I'm certain this wasn't a free local call wherever he's calling from.
Right.
So he's just a mess. So then Pennywise further wastes Leroy's time by giving him some riddles. And he asks, what scares the man without fear? And Leroy takes a guess and he just answers, you. And Pennywise said, I know, he's just like, you.
Mm.
Pennywise says, no, no, no. And Leroy hears Will's voice on the phone and he's asking, Will's like, where am I? Anybody, please, I'm scared. Leroy tells Will, it's him. I'm here. Where are you? I'll come find you. And then there's static on the phone. And Will's voice goes away. And we hear Pennywise say, back in the wagon for Willie Boy. Got to keep him nice and fresh. The dark meat tastes the sweetest. So apparently, on top of all this, Pennywise is also a little racist.
Oh my gosh.
Leroy screams into the phone, don't you put your hands on my son, I will rip your fucking heart out. And then the line goes dead. Leroy is furious and he rips the phone off the wall and he starts smashing it. He throws a little fit. Over at the military base, Dick Halloran is hearing and seeing all of those ghosts around him. Some of them are just standing around being pretty chill, but then some of them are being really extra and doing the most. There's this one guy who I'm going to assume he died by drowning because he's all wet and he's creepily dragging himself across the floor from the bathroom over to Dick. And he
Ew.
looks all kind of like bloated, so I'm pretty sure he died drowning.
Mm.
And this is because Halloran has communicated with them, so he opened up the floodgates again, and now they're
Mm.
all in line to talk to him. Halloran tells them to leave him alone, but these ghosts have some real boundary issues. Just then, Leroy is at Halloran's door, demanding to be let in, and Halloran is not in the mood, and he picks up his gun, and he gets ready for whatever turn this might take. He's ready to shoot the ghost, Leroy himself, whatever he needs to do to make this madness end. Seeing Halloran put the gun into his mouth for a moment, and then he quickly pulls it out. But all the ghosts notice this, and they begin to taunt him and say, do it, join us. Just then, Leroy kicks the door open, and he sees Halloran with the gun under his chin. Leroy asks him what's going on, and Halloran tells him he can't take it anymore. They won't shut up. And then he starts just screaming at the ghosts to shut up, but only he can see them. Leroy tries to approach Halloran, And Halloran turns the gun on him and orders him to back up. He tells Leroy, "You did this. You got my mind all fucked up, and now there's no other way." And he puts the gun back into his mouth as Leroy pleads for him not to do this. Leroy screams out, "It has Will." This makes Halloran stop, and Leroy says, "Please help me find Will, and I will do everything in my power to help you. I'll even pull the trigger myself if that's what you want." Seeing Leroy crying and desperate, Halloran puts the gun down and agrees to help. Outside in Derry, that fog is just moving right along through the woods and across the river as the river begins to freeze. At military HQ, people are running around frantically trying to get control over the hell that they have just unleashed and the fog that's heading towards them now. General Shaw is watching the radar when he gets word that Leroy Hanlon has just gone AWOL. And he's like, no worries, we don't need him anymore.
Oh my
Just,
gosh.
I was like, what is this military? They're just playing fast and loose with military rules. Just like, let him go. AWOL's fine. We'll
Yeah,
handle that
yeah.
later. Yeah.
Mhm.
The officer continues and tells Shaw that apparently Dick Halloran was in the car with him and they're both gone. So now that piece of info does get Shaw's attention and he's not happy. Leroy and Halloran drive to Leroy's house and Charlotte is there with Rose and Hank. Leroy breaks the news about Will missing and Charlotte starts screaming and crying and hitting Leroy, saying, "You said that we'd be safe. You did this to us. You lied." Leroy promises her that he is going to get Will back and Halloran is going to help. Leroy says that the bond between mother and son is the strongest, and Halloran needs Charlotte to connect to that bond through him. Rose interrupts and tells them that that won't matter. Even if they can find Will, they have no chance against this creature. Leroy says, "Okay, so what are we supposed to do? Just give up on Will?" And Rose has an idea, and she thinks that if Halloran can do what she did for the general and tell them where they might be able to find that missing dagger, then there may be a way to stop him and save Will. So then Rose pulls out a map and she explains to them that if they can find the dagger, the one that the kids have, that they can bury it and relock the monster in its cage. But they need to get to it before the monster reaches the border where the energy of the star shard stops working, which is just across the river. So that's why Pennywise and the kids are freezing that river and heading across. Halloran, who has been sitting silently, just smoking a cigarette and listening to all this, tells them that they're all a bunch of fools. He says, "I can barely hear myself think, and now you want me to find some little dagger?" And Rose tells him, "I can help you quiet the voices in your head, but you're going to have to trust me." The scene cuts over to Rose grinding up some herbs and roots and making a tea for Halloran. She gives it to him and tells him that he needs to connect to the dagger's energy. She tells him this is made from matron root. And remember, matron is the name of that turtle. That's the counterpart to
Oh.
it. So they share the same name.
Oh, that's so cool.
Hmm. And she says this root will connect you to him and all the things in that realm, which is that Todash space that we said both entities come from. She said it'll connect to the realm and the evil that it came from, but not all things in that realm are evil. Halloran asks if the tea will shut all the voices up, and Rose says yes. She says when one door in the mind opens, another must close. So Halloran drinks the tea, and then Rose decides to tell him one last important thing, but unfortunately the tea takes effect quickly and her words become distorted, so we don't know what it is that she needs to warn him about, because she's like, "Whatever you do, just don't," and then we don't know.
Oh, I
It's
was
just
just gonna
muffled.
say whenever she told him that she needs or that he needs to trust her, a
Mhm.
and then all she did was make him tea, I was like, "Oh, no big deal."
Yeah,
Because at that point, I would feel like he'd be willing to try anything, but
yeah.
now maybe
The
it
warning
wasn't
was a
just
little
tea?
too late, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Halloran's eyes get wide and big, and the camera zooms into his pupil, and there we see Marge driving the milk truck, and then the scene switches over to the girls real quick. Incidentally, that same matron root drink that he drinks is also taken by Mike Hanlon in It Chapter 2 before he battles Pennywise. So
Mm.
people know that this is what you got to do to get to that mindset. The three girls are shakily driving this truck through the fog, and they're still following the trail of blood. Ronnie starts to complain that Marge needs to drive faster, and when Marge turns to yell at her, they hit a big pothole, lose control of the truck, and run into a tree.
Oh, no.
And the dagger that Lily is holding goes flying out of the truck. So Lily starts to panic that the dagger is gone, but Marge finds it quickly and she goes to pick it up, and Lily goes nuts and yells at her to not touch it. She will get it herself. Lily has become weirdly possessive of this dagger. Marge and Ronnie look at each other like, "Whoa, bitch." And Marge then says, "We don't have time for this. We need to keep going." Lily puts the dagger into her crossbody bag, so it looks like they did take your advice, Leah, and she got a little
Thank
purse for
you.
it.
It is
Yeah.
about time.
And as the dagger drops into the bag, we are back in Halloran's mind, and he is connected to it. He knows where it is, and now the camera pulls out of his mind, and we see him screaming. So whatever it was that made that psychic connection to the dagger is apparently very painful for
So
him.
why didn't they use the tea, like, before now? Like, I feel
The
like that would have been helpful in earlier on in
It
this
probably
battle.
would've, but
Yeah.
I'm thinking before now, the military has not tried to work with the Native people. So you talking about 2 military
Oh,
guys, so now they're finally
okay.
working together, but they kinda
Yeah.
kept those people separate. They didn't want
Yeah,
them even behind that fence, so
got you. Okay, that makes
yeah,
more sense. Sure.
yeah. So Halloran tells them all that the girls have the dagger and that they're going after Will. So the group piles into this big van, and they start driving through the woods. In the van, Rose explains to them about the dagger and what it is and what it can do. She says that the dagger wants to go home, and the further you take it away from where it belongs, the more damage it does to your mind. So remember that dagger that they have specifically wasn't ever originally buried in the ground. It still is part of that original star that the thing came from, so that they were started breaking off pieces.
Mhm.
And I guess they can't get there's probably more of those pieces in there, but that's, like, also where it lives, so it's too dangerous to go keep getting more pieces.
Right.
So they just have this one that for all these centuries they've been holding on to.
But how can he live down there near it?
I don't think he lives in it, but
Oh.
it's in his hunting territory
Oh,
because
oh,
remember, he
oh.
doesn't like it, so that was his cage, but it's
Right.
in where it landed, that's kinda where they enclosed him.
Okay.
It's in that part of the woods that you really shouldn't be going to, is
Mhm.
basically what it is. So we cut to the girls walking through the woods, and Lily is a few steps behind Ronnie and Marge, and she is clutching this dagger. And she's got like a head wound from the crash, and she just looks crazed. Lily overhears Ronnie whisper to Marge that something is wrong with that dagger, and they look back at it, and Lily gets really paranoid and asks them what they're looking at. Marge suggests that maybe she should hold it for a little while. Lily backs away, saying that they never trusted her and they think she's crazy. Ronnie tries to take the dagger, and Lily's now, like, swinging it around like it's a weapon, and she turns and runs away. And then Ronnie and Marge chase her, and they catch her, and they tackle her and try to get it from her. Lily then says to them, "I have to go back. I'm gonna get us killed, don't you see? Ronnie was right about me. I'm gonna drag you all under." Marge pleads with her and tells Lily that the dagger is making her think these things. And then Ronnie just screams in her face, "This is not you!" And with that, Marge is able to get the dagger out of Lily's hand, and once Lily isn't touching it anymore, she starts to feel better and she apologizes. So Marge suggests maybe the three of us need to just like trade off who holds it so no one has it for too long. Just then, the symbols on the dagger begin to glow, and Ronnie spots something in the distance just behind them. She gets up, and the three of them walk towards the now frozen river, and they see crossing the river a long, single file line of all of their schoolmates floating just above the ice and following behind Pennywise's old carnival trailer. They think Will might be in that line, and they're going to go find out. Elsewhere in the woods, the van of adults are following directions from Halloran's vision, and he sees all of the kids floating over the ice. And Rose realizes that they may not make it to the dagger in time because the monster is already crossing the river. Leroy suggests that maybe Halloran can slow it down. He tells them he's seen him do it before when he got into the monster's head in the helicopter. But Dick Halloran isn't doing so well, and these visions are starting to make him sick and weak. The girls make it onto the river and to the line of children, and they're searching the line, and they do find Will. They try to grab him and pull him down, but they're too short. He's like too high up in the air to reach him. Pennywise knows they are there, and he probably senses the dagger. And so then the carnival trailer stops, and the back door of the trailer opens, and blood pours out, followed by Pennywise saying, "Look who decided to join the circus. The fool, the freak, and the failure."
Oh, now
So,
he's just taunting
right? He's
them.
just
Yeah.
roasting them. Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
He begins to charge toward them when Ronnie holds out the dagger up to him like it's a lightsaber, and it stops him dead in his tracks. He backs up, and then he starts circling around them using the fog. It's like dart in and out of sight. And he's just giggling like a little gremlin as he's running around them. He has this high pitched giggle that's really funny.
Mhm.
And then suddenly, an arm reaches out and grabs Marge by the ankles and pulls her away, screaming across the ice and into the fog. So now that Pennywise has Marge, Marge looks up at him, and he's looking down at her and says, "I've always wondered how you taste, Margaret Tozier." And Marge quickly sits up and says, "Tozier?" And Pennywise says, "Oh, but not yet." I love that that's where her mind she's like, "Hold on. Maybe we just have the wrong
Wait a second,
girl.
wait a
Maybe,
second.
yeah. Like, let's get this straight first before we move further. Tozier." Yeah. Pennywise is like, "Oh, but not yet. You're not Tozier yet. First comes love, then comes marriage, then comes Richie in the baby carriage, unless he dies with you." And Marge yells back to him, "I don't know what you're talking about." And he says, "Your son." Then Pennywise takes out a missing child poster, and on it is a picture of Finn Wolfhard as Richie from the It movies.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Right?
And he shows it to her. And he says, "Don't you recognize your little boy?" Pennywise asks her, and and he says, "The seed of your stinking loins and his filthy friends bring my death." Or is it birth? I get confused. So here is where we learn that Marge will be the mother of Richie in the It movies, and while she won't remember this moment or much from her childhood later, Marge's heart and soul remembers because without realizing it, she will name her child after the boy who loved her and saved her life.
Oh,
Oh.
that
Yeah.
is so sweet.
Oh.
But so I wanted to ask though, because Pennywise, excuse me, he mentions about the kids like bringing his demise later on. So does he
Mhm.
know the future of like what's
Yes.
going to happen to him?
So we'll talk about it a little bit later, but I can mention it now because Marge is going to mention this later. So when he says, "Is it my end or my beginning?" he can kind of move through time differently.
Oh, interesting.
So you
Okay.
never really, even though in the It movies, it's like, oh, they finally kill him. Did they? Or will he just move back and keep trying to correct it?
Yeah,
Because what he's
yeah.
doing right now, when he says, your son and his friends bring about my demise, he's trying to fix that by killing Marge.
Got
He's
it.
like, if I
Right.
can get Marge,
That's what I was thinking,
then
like
maybe
cut
I
it
can. So
off at the
right.
pass.
So
Yeah.
he can keep, and I think that's why we're also going to keep going back in time. He's going to keep trying to stop lineages, I believe.
I see.
But it seems like that's why he's like, is it my end or my beginning, or do I just start over? So it seems like he really can't ever die. He just kind of will move through time.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
So then Pennywise tells Marge, it's not always easy being caged up in one place and at one time. So Pennywise is really opening up to Marge at this moment, and I love to see it because this is
I mean,
this is the most
everybody
we're
needs
gonna
somebody
get.
to talk to,
Yeah.
you know? No, you were saying something about the magic of, like,
Oh.
Pennywise at, like,
Yeah, people forget. I mean, it
people.
seems to be part of the magic of this entity is
Mhm,
that after the
Mhm.
augury or after that event, people just seem to forget. Otherwise, how could Marge forget all this? Like, it's just
mhm,
Right.
That's
impossible,
true.
And there's
you would think.
seems to be, unless you're part of that tribe in charge of
Mhm.
keeping this, because because they have the dagger and all those original artifacts still, maybe that's what's protecting them. So once you're kind of like part of their group or initiated into that group, you get to
mhm.
keep your memories. But it seems like everybody else, once they hit adulthood or maybe even after so many years, it just goes away.
But they
Mhm.
should just, like, warn everyone, be like, "Listen, y'all need to move the fuck out of here."
Write it
Yeah.
down right
Because
now.
They
Write yourself
should.
a
Yeah.
note
Write
for
it
later.
down.
down.
Or,
Yeah, exactly, like The Good
Mhm.
Place, when she writes the
Yeah.
note in the book, "Eleanor, find Chidi." So when she comes
Yes.
back, she knows what she has to do.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
But then it's like, well, how, and maybe it's something they try, but how do you get people who've never seen this and thinks kids are just missing
That's
to believe
true.
you without you sounding crazy?
Yeah.
That's very true.
So,
Yeah, you're right.
like I said, Pennywise is really opening up to Marge, and he tells her, "They can't fence me in. Not them, nah, not you. Beat, beat, Margie." And so, beat, beat, Richie is the phrase that Pennywise uses to taunt and mock Richie in the It movies, so her son. In a flash, Pennywise opens his mouth and shows those teeth, and he lunges at Marge, but just before he can bite her, he freezes, like midair. Marge is confused as to why he has stopped moving, but at the same time, she's like, "You ain't gotta tell me twice," and she just hops up and runs back to the girls. So with Pennywise now frozen still, his hold on the kids starts to break, and children just start falling from the sky onto the ice. And thankfully, they're just a few feet off the ground, and it's not a deadly fall, but it does look painful.
Yeah, I was wondering, are they, like, breaking legs and
I
stuff
think
as they're falling?
there was one land that I'm like, she definitely twisted an ankle or
Oh,
something. Like
no.
it was a rough landing. Yeah. So Will falls and he comes to, just like the rest of the kids do. And all of the kids are confused and they're looking around like they just woke up from a bad dream. The kids all hug as these headlights from the van that the adults are in come speeding towards them, almost hitting them, but it stops in time. The parents get to their kids, and they get them all in the van, and I guess the rest of the kids just have to walk across the river on their own because 'cause they're just gone in, like,
Wouldn't
3
that have
minutes. We don't
been
see the rest of the kids.
wouldn't that have been some shit if the car just flew through the fog and, like, hit the kids
Hit
and
the
killed them at
kids,
the
I
end?
know.
Like, oh
I
my
know.
gosh.
Yeah, I'm just like, "Is anybody gonna escort these kids back across the river?" But they're just gone. It's like, we're just worried about the
Oh,
top
wow.
4, I
Yeah.
guess.
Uh,
So Leroy now has the dagger, and he's looking at it curiously as it's glowing. Taniel joins him and takes the dagger, and Leroy says that they should go together to bury it where it needs to be. They start heading across the river to that tree, where that's the boundary that they don't want Pennywise to cross. When out of nowhere, they start getting shot at by soldiers. Ain't that some shit? Like, they're
okay.
just now taking fire after all this.
Jeez. The military really is making everybody's lives harder
They
in this
really
show.
are.
Mhm.
Mhm. Leroy gets shot in the leg and he goes down, but Taniel takes a bullet to the neck, and it's bad. Rose sees her nephew get shot from where she is in the van and she screams out in anguish. Will hops out of the van and runs after his father, and the girls then follow behind Will to stop him. And then Ronnie's dad, Hank, follows behind Ronnie to stop her. So now everyone's just out of the van running towards bullets.
That does not
And
seem ideal.
yeah, it was just chaotic. So thankfully, they all drop onto the ice in time and lay down so that no one else gets shot. Leroy pulls himself over to Taniel, who is bleeding out, and he tries to comfort him as he dies. Will and the girls make it to Leroy, and he gives them the dagger and he tells them to go hide in the fog and use it for cover. He says to Will that he needs to get that dagger to the tree and bury it deep beneath the tree. At this time, General Shaw has shown up and he starts giving orders to his soldiers to secure Leroy Hanlon and don't let Dick Halloran get away. Will and Leroy now have the most ill-timed father and son heart-to-heart moment where Will tells his dad he's scared, he can't do this. He's like, "I'm not as brave as you." And Leroy tells Will, "You don't have to be me, and I don't want you to be me. Just be yourself. I love you." He gives Will a kiss and then pushes him to go with his friends to go to the tree. Will runs away with the girls, and they hide in the fog as instructed. Shaw is searching the fog through binoculars, and he's looking for Halloran when he spots a frozen Pennywise mid-pounce. We then go to a flashback of Pennywise just after the monster transition that we talk about last episode, where he went from the clown carnival performer to the actual monster.
Mhm.
He's in his trailer, and he's suddenly surrounded by a bunch of carnies and his daughter, and they're concerned, and they're wondering if he's okay, because I guess he passed out or something after eating up the actor and turning into him. But the new Pennywise is not cool with all of these strange people around him. And one of the carnies tells him, "You need to lay off the spirits, Robert. We found you in a ditch, and it looks like you took a nasty fall." Pennywise snaps at him and says, "I'm not Bob Gray." And the guy sarcastically says, "Well, then who are you, Peter Rabbit?" So Pennywise didn't like his tone, I guess, because he sits up and he starts choking the man. And he tells him, "I am a god, an eater of worlds." So Pennywise has some serious, like, P. Diddy level rage and entitlement going on with this. And then all of a sudden, the carny man just hauls off and bitch slaps Pennywise. So
Oh, no.
the guy he's choking. And Pennywise looks just as shocked as I was to see that happen. We cut back to the kids running on the ice, heading for the tree, while the soldiers stand over Leroy, asking him questions that he refuses to answer. The kids get to the tree, and then Will stops. It's like he's stuck. He tells the girls he can't do it. He can't go any further. The dagger won't let him. It forces Will to turn around and start running the opposite way. And then the girls catch up to him and grab him and stop him from leaving. And Will is screaming that the dagger wants to go home. He has to take it home. So all of the girls and Will, they're wrestling this dagger and they're trying to now move it to the tree as a group. The soldiers make it over to Halloran and the others, who are back in the van. And then we're back into Pennywise's memory with the carnival folk, as we realize now that what we are seeing is actually Halloran in Pennywise's head. So he's creating this memory, or he's jumped into his memory.
Oh, okay.
And that's what made him suddenly stop his attack with Marge. Halloran took over.
Mm,
Mm.
that's neat.
So
Okay.
yeah, it was pretty cool. So in this shared vision with Halloran and Pennywise, Pennywise now realizes that he's in there because he looks down at the hand of that man who slapped him, and he sees a black man's hand instead of the matching the white carny guy that hit him. So Pennywise starts laughing, and he pulls at the carny man's face, and it drops off like a mask. And standing before him is Dick Halloran. Pennywise looks at Halloran and says to him, I'm not Bob. And then he kicks Halloran right in the chest, sending him flying out of the trailer in the dream, but in reality, it throws him out of the van and onto the ice. So while this whole flashback dream has been going on, General Shaw has made his way over to the frozen Pennywise, and he is in awe of it. He's just walking around it like it's a statue in a museum. And he was never really sure if the monster was real or if it was just something from his nightmares. He tells Pennywise that he's going to help him and get him out of Derry. And as he gets closer to Pennywise, that dream breaks, and just like that, Pennywise is back. He's in full effect, and he
I was
almost bites Shaw. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I don't know even Frozen that I would be
Right.
getting that close, but it's okay. I'm
Yeah,
not you.
exactly. So he almost bites Shaw, but Shaw gets out of the way quick enough, and he tries to talk to Pennywise and tells him, "You're free to go. You can leave Derry." And he's just kind of like showing him, just run. And Pennywise smiles at him, and he begins to walk past him. Just as he passes him, heading towards his freedom, he turns around and he looks at Shaw and says, "I know you. I never forget a smell." Pennywise runs his hands over his face, and he changes his face, revealing this monster that Shaw is terrified of, and showing him his fear. And Shaw yells at Pennywise, "You stay back or I will teach you a let." And before he can even finish a sentence,
Mhm.
Pennywise pounces and eats his face.
Does it show the monster that he's seeing
Yeah.
in that
So
part or
yeah,
whatever?
so it's just like he kinda, like, just runs his hand over his face, and his face
Mhm.
changes to this monster that we see
Oh.
it, but it's
Mhm.
whatever it is, it's what scares Shaw at his core.
Ah.
To us, it just looks like another monster. Just I don't know, look like an alien or something to me, honestly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Shaw lets out this crazy high-pitched scream, and all of the soldiers hear it, but with the fog, they can't really tell where it came from, but they venture out into the fog anyway to try and find him. Meanwhile, the group tactic of getting the dagger to the tree seems to be working for the kids, and they are getting closer. But over where the adults and a few soldiers are, they all at once turn and look, and they see, in slow motion, skipping towards them through the fog is Pennywise.
No.
And he is skipping.
That's so funny.
He skips
Mm.
right on past the adults and the soldiers and gives them a little smirk and keeps going towards the tree. Leroy tells the soldiers, "You guys have to stop that thing. If he gets past the tree, we're all fucked." And the colonel in charge tells the men to ignore Leroy because he is a traitor. The kids have made it to the tree, and they are trying to get the dagger to go into the ground when Halloran, Hank, and Leroy exchange a look with one another that basically says, "Let's do this." And the three of them decide that they're just going to attack the soldiers that are guarding them. Now, a few things that make this a terrible idea. All of you are injured in some way. None of you have a gun or a weapon at all.
Mhm.
And Leroy, your wife, is standing right there next to you. Do you
Did you
do
forget
you
about
really think they're
her?
not going to shoot her by accident or on purpose?
Right. Or
Yeah.
she's gonna get caught in the crossfire
Crossfire,
or
right.
yeah.
Exactly. It was just a weird thing to do, but it works for them.
Okay.
And thankfully, they have badass Rose on their side too because she's the first one to wrestle a gun from one of the soldiers. So the kids are still trying to get the dagger into the ground when they see Pennywise still skipping towards them like he hasn't a care in the world.
The skipping is I'm just picturing him, like,
Hilarious.
smirking and just,
Mhm.
like, having the time of
Mhm.
his life.
He is. He has this big smile on his face and he's just skipping like you
Oh
would
my
as a
gosh.
kid, just having
Yeah.
a day. Yeah. And he even hollers out to them, "Having a little bit of trouble, are we? Keep trying." And then he waves at them. He continues skipping, and the kids keep trying when a shot rings out behind Pennywise, and half of his head gets blown off by Leroy Hanlon. And then another shot, and the rest of his head is gone, and his body falls to the ground.
Oof.
But he's a monster. He's not human. He just gives himself a new Jack in the Box clown head and starts pulling himself across the ground. So then Leroy shoots that head off, but Pennywise's body keeps on going. The kids have the dagger even closer now to its final destination as Pennywise's newest head is growing back and it starts to take shape. Leroy goes to shoot it off again, but he's out of bullets. And before Leroy can reload or figure out his next move, Pennywise's new head is ready. And although it's a little deformed still, he is able to open his mouth and show Leroy the deadlights.
I mean, it can't be
Leroy's
much worse than
than
Bob
what we've had
Gray's
before.
head,
Exactly.
so
It's really just that part of the head is just deflated a
it's
little. It's
okay.
yeah. So now Leroy's eyes are glazed over and he's under the spell of the deadlights and he just kind of rolls over and lays on the ground. Charlotte runs over to her husband while Pennywise still crawls on his belly towards the tree and the kids keep pushing in the dagger. The dagger is fighting back as hard as it can, though, but these kids aren't going to give up. Back over with the soldiers, who are all now either knocked out or shot, Rose and Halloran both turn and see visions of ghosts that have come to help them. Rose's tribe's ancient warrior queen, Seski, from the story of the glue, is there, and then from behind her appears a little boy. And he's just a silhouette at first, but the boy takes off running to the tree, and we see that it is Rich. And yes, Rich still does have the drumsticks in his back pocket that I missed 2 episodes ago. I'm sorry. I don't know how I didn't notice it, but
Oh.
I do see him. I can't
Now
not see
they're
him. Now that
there.
I've
Yeah.
rewatched it, I do see it. Not sure how I missed it the first 2 times, but whatever. So he's there and he's running towards his friends and he's going to help them and be the extra hand they need to get the dagger into the ground. Rose asks Halloran, "What did you see?" Halloran tells her, "A motherfucking miracle." As Rich runs to the tree, he passes Pennywise, still scooting himself across the ice, and Pennywise stops for a moment because even he sees Rich. The two of them make eye contact, and Rich flips him off as he's passing and running by.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he just flips him the bird real quick. And Rich makes it to the tree, and he puts his hand on top of the dagger and helps them push it in finally. Pennywise knows he's out of time now, and he's got to hustle if he wants his freedom.
But if he can, like, create a new head, can't he just, like, rocket himself across the lake to the tree? Like, I don't
Yep, once
isn't
again, you
he
said it perfectly because that's the
Oh.
next thing he does.
Oh, geez, I should
So,
just
yep,
write a show,
I know.
honestly.
You always know what's coming next. So he basically is like, he's like, they're getting this dagger, like, they're touching the tree now. It's getting closer into the ground. So he's like, damn the clown costume, and he transforms into a dragon, but he's doing it so hastily and he's been
Mm.
shot a lot, and Rose is still shooting at him. So he really only gets the wings out. But he does take to the air with the wings, and he flies. To me, I think he chose wrong because he decides to fly to the tree and
Mhm.
tries to snatch up one of the kids when I would have just started to dart away, like, just past the tree. Forget the kids, just go
Right,
past the tree.
right.
But that's not
So
what he
that way
does.
you're outside of, like, the range.
Exactly, but
Yeah.
he decides, "I'm gonna snatch a kid," or maybe he's like, "I'm not gonna make it, so let me just take a kid out one last
Mm.
time." I don't know. So, he tries to snatch up one of the kids, but that's when they get the dagger into the ground just in time, and the gates reconnect and push Pennywise back into the boundary and shoot him across the ice. Once he's across the ice, Pennywise then throws what I can only describe as a tantrum, a monster tantrum. And he starts cycling through all of his scary forms he takes. So he's Pennywise, and he's Lily's pickled father, and then he's some sort of like banshee, then a baby doll looking thing. He just goes through a lot.
Oh.
So I don't know what's going on, but he's working out some things, and so everybody just lets him, and they just watch. He then bursts into a ball of light that hovers in the air for a beat and then zooms off to wherever it needs to go. Leroy wakes up, and the kids are good, and everyone except Daniel, of course, is safe. And I was immediately thinking they should all probably get off the ice, though, because we don't know how long this is going to be frozen now that it is back into in hibernation. So I don't know how long he's going to keep this spell on the ice. The kids mentioned to each other that at the end they felt like there was another pair of hands helping them, and Will smiles and says that it was Rich. It's now a few days later, and everyone is at Richie's funeral, and Marge is speaking. She talks about how they only know each other for about a month, but that their group became very close and good friends, and they stood by each other. And when she's talking, Halloran walks up to the gravesite and stands in the back and listening to her speak. And he looks to where Will, Ronnie, and Lily are sitting, and he smiles because he sees Rich standing behind them with his arms around them. As the service ends and people begin to leave the gravesite, Halloran goes and sits next to Rich's parents. He sees Rich's dad is like touching his chest and breathing deeply, like he's just, really having a tough time. And Halloran looks at his parents and tells them, "That hand you feel on your shoulders, that's your boy. He's right here, and he always will be."
Oh.
And you see Rich, like, so Rich is at his funeral, you see him, like, trying to interact with people. After the funeral, Marge is walking around downtown Derry on Main Street when she looks up in a tree, and there she sees Rich's airplane that he was always trying to get to land somewhere on Main Street, so it looks like he finally did it. Over at the cemetery, Lily stops by to visit her dad's grave, and they have a little talk, and she tells him that she's doing much better, and she's made some friends. Later that day, Lily, Marge, Ronnie, and Will are up in their tower, and Lily and Marge are drinking 2 of the Fizzle Colas and chatting about how peaceful everything is now. And Lily even makes a comment like you could almost forget everything that had happened.
Mm.
Marge tells Lily about the chat that she and Pennywise had in the fog, and how he told her that she would have a son and that her son and his friends would kill it in the future. And that's why he wanted to kill Marge, because to it, the past, present, and future are all the same. So his death is the same as his birth, like we just talked about. And Marge asks Lily, what if it does see time differently and can go back in time and kill people like our parents so that we are never born? And Lily says, then I guess it would be somebody else's fight. It's days later now, and the Hanlon family is moving. They're finishing packing up all of their boxes when they get a visit from Dick Halloran, and he has luggage with him, so it looks like he's also leaving Derry. He tells Leroy that he's stopping to say goodbye. Leroy asks him how he's doing, and Halloran says that whatever that route was, it worked, and it quieted the voices down. Halloran tells Leroy that he's leaving town tonight. He has a bus to Boston, then a flight out to London, because he has an old friend who owns a hotel that wants to give him a shot at cooking in the restaurant.
It's
So
great.
while this is obviously not the Overlook Hotel from The
No,
Shining that he's
yeah.
heading to, it is our first hint that Dick Halloran from here on out has a career in hotel and hospitality. So this is his new
I like
career.
that little drop there. It was cute.
They will, lead him eventually to the Overlook.
Yeah.
Leroy tells him, if you run into any trouble out there, you can always give me a call. I owe you. And Halloran says, I think I'll manage. How much trouble could a hotel be? Later, over at Rose's house, Hank and Ronnie Grogan are there, and Charlotte is helping them get some things together for their escape from Derry. They are packing up their car, and Charlotte tells them that when they get to St. Stephen's, that Rose's friends will help them out. Ronnie and Will are off in the yard talking, and Will tells her, they say once you leave Derry, you forget. And Ronnie asks him if that's what he wants. Does he want to forget everything? And Will says, well, there's definitely parts that I'd like to forget, but I don't want to forget about you. And the two of them share their first and possibly only kiss. Hank then calls the kids over and tells them it's time to go. Everyone says their goodbyes, and Hank and his daughter drive off to their new life. So a quick side note, and I don't know if you noticed this, Kristin, in the It movie, in the beginning,
Mhm.
Beverly hears the voice of a girl named Veronica Grogan talking to her through the pipes, which would suggest that Ronnie was killed as a kid by Pennywise.
Oh.
But in the TV series, they decided to let her live. Not really sure
Oh.
why, but
No, that
that
is
doesn't translate.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Leroy has received an honorable discharge from the military as long as he agrees to keep his mouth shut. So Rose suggests to Leroy and Charlotte that they join her people in being the watchers of the gates and making sure that no one ever tries to open that cage again, especially the military. Leroy says, I appreciate the offer, but we have had enough of Derry. But moments later, before they drive off from Rose's house, Charlotte starts to have second thoughts. And she says maybe they should stay and join Rose's group. And Leroy's like, I thought we were done being these crusaders and doing all this stuff and helping people. And Charlotte says, well, maybe our next mission just needs to be done together. So Leroy looks at Will in the back seat and asks him how would he feel if they stuck around. And Will smiles and says, I need a pen. And he hops out of the car and he starts writing a letter to Ronnie, telling her that they are staying, they are staying, and as long as he keeps writing to her, then maybe she won't forget him. And then we see one last shot of Ronnie and her dad in the car, happily leaving Derry, and then the screen says, Welcome to Derry, Chapter 1. And it looks like that's the end, but there's some bonus scenes. The first one is at Juniper Hill Asylum, where, deservedly so, that crazy bitch Ingrid Kirsch, who was once an employee there, is now a patient. She's
Good.
sitting in a wheelchair in a straitjacket, yelling about how wolves killed her father, as the orderlies put some music on, both to soothe her and really drown her out. With that same music still playing, we fast forward 26 years later to October 1988. Ingrid is an old woman, still living in Juniper Hill, and she's peacefully doing a watercolor painting when she hears a loud crashing noise followed by hysterical screaming and crying. Ingrid gets up from her painting to see what the commotion is. She walks a few doors down and sees a woman named Elfrida Marsh has hung herself, and her husband and daughter are in there crying as the police are standing next to the body taking notes. And we only see the back of the husband and daughter heads at first, but then the camera pans down and moves closer to the family. And the daughter lifts her head up from crying and looks behind her at Ingrid, and the daughter is Beverly Marsh from the It movie.
Oh my
The
gosh.
girl in the group, yeah.
Mm.
So
The
they
redheaded
got
girl.
they got the actress to come and do this little cameo.
Oh, cool.
Ingrid looks at her and says, "Oh dear, don't be sad. You know what they say about Derry. No one who dies here ever really dies." And then she gives her a creepy smile. And, just as a side note, In the fall of 1988, probably October, is when little Georgie Denbrough goes missing after being last seen playing with a little paper boat in the streets in the rain. And Georgie is the first murder that begins the 1988-89 cycle. And that is the
Mhm.
end.
Mhm.
I didn't see the after credit. I need to go back.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I must have turned it
You shut
off.
it off after the screen went black
Yes.
because it looks like credits are about to roll because the
Yeah.
screen goes black. It says it chapter.
I
Yeah.
bet a lot of people missed it.
I didn't see it, and I don't know if Rachel did because we watched it together and, turned it off, so I'm gonna have to mention it to her too.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
there's
I need to
little
go back
bonus
and watch
scenes. They
that,
did
like,
like
as
their
soon as we're done.
little Marvel thing at the
Yeah,
end.
that's cool.
Yeah, and
That's
I keep it on because I like a lot of HBO shows will do this, have like the directors talking after a lot of
yeah.
episodes. So I always try to let it roll and see if they're going to do something after. So
Mhm.
I need to
that's
start
fine.
doing that. Hmm.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. Wow. I
yep,
kinda
yep.
wanna watch this.
I think you should. It's a
I
It's
don't
fun
good
show.
so
You've watched
far.
the
do
It
you like it?
movies,
See,
right?
Yeah.
I watched
No.
the first one, the remake one, but then I heard that the second one was a lot more violent, so
Yeah,
I never did watch that one. But
I
this
feel
I
like
feel
this is
like I
no
could
worse than that.
handle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, it's no worse, no, for sure.
I feel like there's enough comic relief
Mhm.
and
Mhm,
silly parts that I could power through.
And just
mhm.
But
honestly, that little Rich and that little just the cutest little thing ever, I
yeah,
swear.
Yeah,
I wanna watch it just to see these kids, like, their performances and stuff,
they're so
honestly.
good.
He
They're
took
so
Teddy's place for
cute.
me. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
yeah.
really liked that.
Yeah, all the kids do really, really good performances. Like
Yeah.
they got some good kid actors,
I
especially
have
when
to
you
say
hear them in like the interviews later and they're excited. And like the kid who plays Rich is like, "Oh, I got to come back for the last two episodes and do this." Like he
Aw.
was excited about being a ghost. Like he was, so
Aw.
he loved it. So
That's
Cute.
so cute. Well, I feel like even when they were, filming the movies, like, the kids seem to have a great time, and it seems
hmm
like Bill Skarsgård is, like he interacts really well with all the kid actors and stuff, and
Oh.
I had heard that they saved, like, the way he looked in makeup until they were actually filming, so it would actually really catch the kids off guard and scare them,
oh,
but then, like, in between, like, you see clips of him, like, being like, "Hey, you okay? You okay?" Like, he's, like, checking in with them and making sure, like, they're doing okay, and he's joking with them, and it's just I don't know, it looks like a fun group to work
like
with.
yeah, it looks like they kept the sets a fun atmosphere in the
Yeah.
show and the
Yeah.
movie.
Oh, I
I
said the
mean,
wrong
like, especially
Skarsgård
con
earlier. Sorry, guys. I was saying Alexander.
Oh. Oh.
Oh, were
Yeah,
you?
this one's Bill. There's
Yes,
a
I
lot of them.
Oh,
was.
It's easy
yeah.
to get them mixed
I
up.
hmm
prefer Alexander is like, whew, I've had it. So my
That's the
bad,
hot.
but
I
yeah, I was
Yeah.
calling
know.
him Alexander. It was Bill. Alexander
Bill's
does
a
not
cutie
have the
too, but
peanut
he's a little
forehead.
goofy.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, they're all. I think they're all attractive,
Oh,
but
yeah,
Alexander's
Yeah.
the
yeah,
true
yeah.
blood one that everybody's
Yeah, yeah,
thinks is
yeah.
the
Yeah,
hottest.
I was
Yeah.
using his name accidentally
Honestly,
though.
I even liked him in Big Little Lies, even though he was
Oh yeah,
terrible.
he
He
was
was so
terrible, but
hot.
he was
Oh
good.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Super hot.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
do like. Oh, go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, the way this whole show started with it, that opening scene with the flying demon baby in the car, I was like, I didn't know what to expect. I
Same.
was like,
Mhm.
"Where is this gonna go? This show's gonna be off the rails insane." But,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
honestly, I really loved it. I
Yeah.
think it sounds like a really great show.
Yeah. I loved
Yeah.
You
it
guys
too in
did a
the
good
end.
job
Oh,
at
Thanks.
covering it, so
I do like how they worked in on the TV show with Rose asking that family to stay in the tribe into the movie because we know that the Hanlons do have to stay. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's the tie. We know that Will never
mhm.
left, and then Will has his son Mike Hanlon, and he stays. He's the one who stays. So it's like that family. I guess once they make it so that once they made this vow to the tribe, they have to stay and be like the
Ah.
keepers. So
You would
that's
think
how he keeps bringing his friends back, saying, "Hey, it's time
Uh,
again."
You would think he'd be like, "Well, yeah, I'll stay, but I'm not having kids," like you said, like,
Right.
why would you
Yeah.
have your own kid in a town where kids are targeted, like,
Mhm.
and are
Mhm.
constantly going missing and being
good
murdered
point.
in heinous ways, but
Yeah.
what do I
Especially
know?
him because he's the one person that remembers, like, along with the tribe because him and his
Right,
family were initiated into that tribe, so he never forgets, really.
right.
So, I always thought that was weird, and then there's, like, fan speculation because does he really keep in touch with Ronnie and remember, is Ronnie his baby's I don't wanna say baby mom wife, that's the word I was looking for. Is Ronnie eventually his wife and Mike's mom? We don't know because we never see Mike's mom in the movies. So,
Oh, hmm. I wonder if maybe
yeah.
that will come up at any point again. Like, I
Yeah.
wonder if the next season will have tie-ins to this or
Yeah,
if it'll be, like, completely its own
I wonder it might have tie-ins to this. I don't know how it would ever tie into the '80s because it's going
Yeah.
back in time, but
Mhm,
it
mhm.
might, with that whole car thing, tie into like, maybe that's how they open the scene with where they found the car in the '60s, and then
True.
it goes back. I don't know.
Well, I'm really glad that we had you to, like, point out all these little Stephen
Me
King Easter
too,
egg things, because
because I
I would have
Yeah,
wouldn't have done
never
that. Mm-mm.
at
watching it
Oh,
on
all.
my
yeah, that was
own,
fun.
I would have never ever known any of those. So I
Yeah.
think that's really cool how
You
they
made it
did
more
that.
interesting for
Yeah, it
sure.
was really cool. And
Mhm.
I mean, I'm hoping I found a lot of them was just, like, a word or 2 would, like, stick out in my head. I'm like, "That's something," and then I'd research it and
That's
find out,
Yeah.
cool.
that is something.
I
So,
love
I
that.
there
love
could be
that.
more that I missed, but those are just what my brain would pick out from having read so many of his books.
I think you
So,
Mhm.
did great.
Yeah, I think
thanks.
so too.
But, that's it. So, our next episode, we will be doing a movie. Not sure which movie yet, but we will figure out. There is some new
Oh,
horror
that one
film
with the
coming out about
podcast people.
podcasts
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When
that
does
we
that
really
come
wanna
out?
see. Will it I don't know when it comes out.
Mm-mm.
If it's out by then, we will make that
Allison
our
said
movie.
no. I'm
I'm not
good.
even gonna listen to it. Y'all gotta do that one by yourself. That looks
Yeah.
so demonic.
She'll be gone that
Kristin and I
day.
really wanna see that. Yeah.
No, I really
She
do.
so
I'll
Yeah.
look it
happens to
I'll
have
figure out what
plans
the
that
name.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna figure out when that is. That could be our next movie. If not, it will be either another movie or I still have a couple of Black Mirror episodes I wanna do, so
Oh, yeah, those are
we'll
always
see.
fun.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
enjoy
yeah.
those a lot.
I do too.
That's the only way
But
I watch them is when you
Even
guys
though we're
is
watch
living
after
them.
we
in a
Right,
cover it.
right.
Yep.
Black Mirror episode
I
now.
know, it's like yeah, they're barely scary anymore because it's just so close to reality, so
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
exactly
but
why I don't want to watch them.
yeah,
mhm,
exactly. It's almost scarier.
really.
I'm
And you guys always will say things like that, like, "Oh, it's not bad," and then it'll, like,
Right.
open with a scene of, like, a body exploding, and I'm like, "Wait, what?" So, I have a hard time not
Trusting
trusting
us.
you, but, like,
It's fair.
I don't know. I think we're just different. Our perspectives are different.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
all.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us on our Welcome to Derry adventure, and we'll be back with you next time. Talk to you later.
Alright,
Bye.
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 For more information about our episodes, follow us on Instagram at Fear and Wine Pod. And if you have a fun discussion question that you'd like for us to answer on the podcast, send it to us at fearandwinepod@gmail.com.